So it's very early in the morning, which usually only means one thing. There is a event, or in my case, a drift competition or drift day coming up, and the car is far from done. We need to essentially do 3 days of work in 2 days, hence the early start, so we can get more done in a day. But first, tea. Hello there. Do you like tea? No? Tight squeeze. Neighbours love me. I guess I wish up a slight bit, even if it is 100 horsepower, whatever the hell this car is. I really do struggle in the mornings to wake myself up. So I've actually started, I'm not sure if any of you guys do this, or girls, having only cold showers. I was told it was supposed to wake you up a lot better, put you in a better mindset for the day, better for your muscles, and I don't know, what I found is I stay in bed longer because I'm dreading the cold shower. Saying that, once you get in the cold shower, I do feel better, I do feel more awake, but they're bloody awful. That being said, on the way to the shed, I'm not gonna lie, we've had a lot of these videos testing the MX5 NC. Does the MX5 NC work? This will be the last. It's got a new sump on, it's got a new turbo, all the weak spots have been addressed, so this is going to be a leak-free, power-filled, smoky testing, setup, race car driving video. Could have been a little bit ambitious there. She is back, fixed up. Now we'll talk you through inside what has been done. Oh, he's a bit gymnast. Let's get in here. Well, it sounds better than it did with no exhaust. So for those of you that are new to the channel, I'm going to give you a super quick rundown of this car. This is pretty much the most anticlimactic car that we have on the channel. We put tons and tons of work into it and it never really works. We built this car during the pandemic, put loads of time and development into it, and it blew an engine, and it's just kind of had loads of little problems. It's never had its day where it shone or actually worked properly. But it's a new year, it's come around to the drift season, and we're finally putting a bit of time back into it. So, with a broken manifold, we put a new manifold in. So we have a new Walton Motorsport manifold that's been put in, and Ryan down at Vital Fabrications, he did all the readjusting and refabricating for the downpipe and wastegate and all that sort of stuff. So if we go under the car, these are, well, there's no denying the problem that we have at the moment, which is a leaking steering rack. But we have another steering rack over there, so that should easily solve that issue. We have a new sump in the car, which is very warm, and this should solve, well, you hope to God, I don't see any leaks so far, this should solve the leaky sump issue. So they are the old problems that have been solved, and in the short duration when we're testing this car, you may remember that we've got a full destroy or die angle kit, which was actually developed for this car, but with it being a development kit, is obviously not going to get it right straight away. So one of the problems that we actually saw with this kit is, if you can see, there's a few little rub marks there, which would suggest that the wheel is rubbing when it's on full lock. So we've actually had these ages, but we've never put them in the car because the car's not been driving, so there was no real point. So we made up these new ones. As you can see, the old ones kind of went straight there, so these ones kind of go in a bit and gives you a lot more clearance there. So hopefully we get a bit more angle out of it, and on full lock the wheels won't rub on it. Along with that, originally when we got the suspension, BC sent us a few different spring rates which they kind of calculated would be better for the car, obviously because there's different weights in the rear and the front with the engine swap and everything like that. Because we've never really properly done any testing or development on it, we just took the standard suspension in and just kind of went with that, which was fine, and it worked absolutely fine. But now we're down into the fine tuning stage. I'm going to chuck in the other springs for the front, and hopefully that'll make a bit of a difference. So BC have suggested for the front a 200mm 7kg spring. So the plan today, we're going to throw this in. Fingers crossed Mondello Park have a small bit of track time that we can use to test the car. So the 7K spring is in and pre-loaded. This was the original spring, so this was a 6K spring. Same height, same everything like that. This one's just a little bit stiffer, so I'm guessing the professionals at BC gave a stiffer spring because obviously it's a turbocharged, bigger engine, so it's a little bit heavier. Of course, I'm not basing this on any knowledge since I don't know really anything about setup, but I'm just going to trust the professionals. Everything on and tight. Not gonna lie, that was an absolutely horrible job. Stuff does not go back on the same way it comes off. New springs in, I set them to pretty much the same height as they were before, hopefully that'll be fine. And then the new arms in. So to see if these will actually add a lot more clearance, which you can visually see that they do. Loads of clearance there. And also, there is a passenger seat in the car because at the event at the weekend, there's gonna be passenger spins, so obviously, I want to be involved in the passenger spins. That wraps up today. We have secured some track time at Mondello Park. So I've had enough of today, but my hands are hurting. So we're gonna cut to tomorrow. So, as you can see, the car has made it to the track. This is a step higher than a lot of the other tests and what we've done.
It's done more than we've done in the last 12 months or 24 months.
Yeah, as you can tell, that's not me driving it. Doesn't take a genius to realise that. That's Ryan Morton, again said earlier in the video, did all the fabrication work on the car. Probably a better man to test than me, but...
If you got out there, what's wrong with it? I have no idea. What do we change? No idea. What's this noise? No idea. So, what do you...
It feels weird. What do you want me to change? No idea. Just make it stop that.
Yeah. So he's gone out to do a lap or two, even warm it up and just see if there's anything loose, because you did do the power steering last night with me, and a little bit I helped a little bit.
Yeah, so we did the I fitted the top arms, so I fitted the suspension back on. I adjusted all the height of the suspension, spring rate, the steering rack. A lot to do with the steering.
Oh my god. So that's why he needs to test.
So I was gonna say he's making sure everything's tight and everything like that. And look, we have tires and fuel. That's a new one now.
The last time we came to our test session, didn't bring a jack, and we didn't bring spare tires.
No. We bought spare tires, but we didn't have the locking key.
And we couldn't jack the car up, so I had to take the jack out of the back of my car, like the windy jack to wind it up.
We did use a windy jack. That's how professional we are. But yeah, so this is, as much as it's an entertaining video of testing, this is actually going to be a proper test video, so there won't be, well, I don't know. We've never actually got to this point in the car. We've never actually done proper testy things. So I guess, I don't know, I'm going to get in the car, see how it handles, make some changes, and hopefully it's going to work.
What's up with your elf shoes?
They're Dave's hand-me-downs. Oh, pure class. Look at my shoes.
So what's happened is whoever didn't tighten the boost pipe on the car it's actually, because we can laugh about it now, because a boost pipe coming off is a very easy thing to fix, whereas anything else we were a little worried about what it was.
But only the most scary part of this is Josh figured it out.
Ryan went 3 laps, couldn't figure it out. I went for half a lap.
He's far cleverer with the mustache than he was before, isn't he?
I tell you,
I couldn't believe
like
when he dyed it.
with a mustache comes wisdom. Yeah. So
I mean, he still has half his lunch on his face, but still, other than that.
Do I? Come on.
And floor at the back of the van.
Don't embarrass a man like that.
Right, tighten the boost pipe, reattach the boost pipe, and ready for session.
It looks good. I forgot what this car looks like.
I did as well, and you know what? I was like, it's not done anything in this livery. I don't think it's ever been wiped off. Adam actually wiped it off for the first time. So it's had its first wash and it's going for its first drift.
A year later.
It only took a year.
Good things come to those who wait, right?
We waited a long time for
Waiting
this.
that long.
Warm-up tyres, done. And what do you say? Can do this. Pressure's good. Chucks it there.
Yes, it won't chuck as much. The tires aren't super sticky for this particular car.
Yeah.
But drop the pressure. The pressure is the right.
So, test number 2. I'm not sure if you could hear what Dave was saying. So Dave's essentially up on the bank, seeing what sort of changes from the way that I'm driving, what I should be doing and everything like that. So he's put a bit more side by in the car, a bit more travel on the suspension to give it a bit more suspension grip, and hopefully that should make it a lot more drivable. So I'm going to do 2 laps and see how much of a change that actually makes. We're driving the same for the first lap. Worst lap, but it feels a lot better. So first session was probably the most successful session we've ever had of this car.
Or any of our cars, probably, for that matter. Which is a long time coming, but we're just topping it up with some Mobil 1 oil. Obviously, Mobil 1 is a partner of the channel, and we run them in all of our cars. This means that we don't have to worry about that thing, particularly because the oil is so good, it'll always keep the engine running perfectly. But also, you can take some of their branding and use it as toe plates on the car as well.
Multi-purpose Mobil set.
Multi-purpose. What can Mobil 1 not do? That's what I'm going to say.
Keeping engines reliable and tracking cars for setup. So I think you're going to give it a few laps now?
I'm just going to give it 1 lap. I don't need to do a whole lot of testing. I want you to get as much seat time as possible. I just want to, if there's anything that I can pick up on that I can change. It looked good on the second testing there, it looked like it drive very well. If I take it and say that's just the way the car is, you have to learn it. If I think it can be improved, I mean, I'm not the biggest expert, but I'll see if it's easier or not to drive.
We'll see. Like, come across as a bit of a numpty of car setting up on the channel, and I will say, you've actually helped a lot.
I've listened to a lot of far more intelligent men than me talk for 10 years, and I sort of know the theory. So yeah, I've set it up the way I think it's best for you to drive, but I'm going to take a spin in it myself and make an adjustment or two and just see if it's better or worse. Who knows? Oh, tight on the old testes. Driven it before and it wasn't handling great, so let's see if we've made some improvements.
How is it?
It's a little snappy. Obviously, I've completely forgot about turbo lag in the last year and a half. I haven't driven any cars with turbos. I'd say there's a couple of tweaks I'd make just on front steering and front suspension a little bit, but I'm going to try it and see how you get on. See, what everyone else is going to do is they try and make the cars as gripped and as hard to drive as possible. I'm doing the exact opposite, trying to make it as easy as possible to drive so you get used to it, and then you can work on making it competitive. But I think what I would say is that I changed the suspension there to give it a bit more movement. That's not good. I'd say the front could do it a little bit more suspension and soften the front, keep the back hard. Pressures are pretty good at that. I think it's probably about right.
We're getting somewhere, we're getting somewhere. Drive the car on a bit, which is good, but do you want to drive the car on more, or do you want to have it more drivable? I'm not sure. I'll see what the guys think. It's good though, still very good. So I think this is a world first in drift games testing.
Are we refueling a car?
We're refueling the car, which is never.
Usually only take the top off the tank and then it's just cut the car can't go any further.
The car's never been refueled, I
It was
think.
always a very economical car because it did 1 year on 1 tank of fuel, which I thought was exceptional, especially in the current crisis with fuel. So if we get another year out of it, Josh, we'll be doing all right.
I was going to say the fuel that was in it only cost actually about $130, I think.
The whole world has changed a lot since you put the fuel into that car.
The whole world has changed a lot since the last time you drove that car.
Yeah, the last time you drove that car, we weren't allowed to go to the petrol station if it was more than 5 kilometers away. Now
we were actually technically illegally here.
Yeah, and now we're legally here, so maybe the car knew that we were messing around. The car is a ripper though. Like, it's so fast. Like, to be fair, even though it's been an absolute misery journey to get here, it's one of the fastest drift cars I've ever seen. If it's on road tyres and it's that fast, I can only imagine on semi-slicks what it'd be like.
I was planting it because that's all I know is planting it and then hoping that it makes around the corner. And then when I was feathering it, you said it gained like 5 or 10 miles per hour on the corner.
Yeah.
Like,
it's weapon fast. And if you learn how to control it at that speed, it's a formidable car for anyone to battle because it's so quick through the corners. It doesn't wash at all. So like another car will wash a little bit and then go on grip. That thing is just rocket, rocket, rocket everywhere. It's a race car, not a drift car. As far as I'm driving it, you could win a touring car championship in that car. It's that fast.
let's stick with drifting at the moment, then we're moving to touring
we've
cars.
done 20 laps now of drifting in a year and a half, so let's not get too confident. But yeah, I think the car has a lot of potential. So do a couple
Hang
more
on a
laps.
second, okay, I know that the speedo was on 100 kilometers. So it's done 100 kilometers since we've had the car. So I guess how many kilometers we've tested today?
30.
90.
40 kilometers.
What's my price?
Well, you didn't get it right, so
I did 5, so I'm happy enough.
One lady owner never abused.
thank you, sir. imagine you're saying nice things.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying.
Okay, so in quite a good bit of testing now, we're at a point where we have a nice setup for the car, but we're just going to keep on kind of changing things to see if it makes it better or worse. And again, we know where the nice setting is, so we can always go back to that we're comfortable on. So this is a bit of a grippier setup now, so let's see how it goes. I could feel the grip in that one.
Not better or worse?
Worse.
That's only 5 clicks from full soft. We were on full hard all morning. There's 20 clicks. I didn't want to tell you what I was doing because then you'd be like, oh, real nervous. We'll just do it and say nothing to me.
The best thing about this car is we have so much adjustability with the BC Racing coilovers that like we can endlessly change things here. In fact, they have such an adjustment of range that we can make it so grippy that it's almost undrivable, or so hard so the coilover nearly doesn't move at all. So trying to find that perfect balance that's easy for him to drive but still fast. A couple more laps and we'll know.
Jeez, it goes like the clappers.
A fast car. Alright, let's go see what this is. That's a very happy medium of feeling grippy. I wouldn't want to drive it fully like that, but that's controllable like grip. May as well go for one last lap. Never say one last lap, but I didn't want to jinx it earlier, but that's gone incredibly well.
The car works. So we started building this car a year and a half ago. No one's ever put an SR20 in an NC, we now know why. All of the issues that we've had to work hard at it, then we've had an engine go, then we had a turbo go, then we had low oil pressure, then we had leaking.
Manifold go.
Manifold completely split from the turbo. Pretty much anything that could have gone wrong went wrong with this. So it's a lesson to everybody building a car that sometimes you think, oh, it's YouTube, we just throw money at something and it'll all come out great. That's not, it's a development to this car. But today, after a year and a half, to see you smiling, to see the car actually ripping around the place, it's fast, it drives good. And I love the fact that the first competition that it's, I think properly, we did go to BDC with it, but it wasn't really ready for BDC.
I wouldn't count that because the car really wasn't right for that.
Drivable. I couldn't even get it to drift around Teesside. So I think the fact that we're going this Sunday to a charity event, which is such a nice place to bring the car to kind of give back over all the people that have kind of obviously watched the car, give some passenger rides, low pressure, go to a completely different track that you haven't driven before, Watergrass Hill, do some battles, get some battle practice in. I think if you come back from Sunday evening with some confidence, some fun, some enjoyment in the car, you're ready for the rest of the season and whatever else brings. So it's been a long road. Thank you to Wayne, Ryan, to all of our partners at Drift Games who actually made this car. It's come a lot later than we thought it would. But like
a year later.
But we've had to deal with COVID, and we've had to deal with traveling, and we've had to deal with a lot of stuff we've been doing work on and trying to keep the videos going and everything rather than just constantly working on the car. So it's been a long labour of love, but now here she is ready to go.
I honestly thought like when we were building the cars, like this is the feeling that I wanted when we were close to finishing it. I thought I was going to get when we're going to be first testing it, but I think it almost feels better now because you've had to work for it more.
The point to make here is that most people start drifting, and when they get good at drifting, then they turn the cameras on. I have to say, for your perspective, it's been a lot more stress because you've had the whole build on camera, all of your learning has been on camera, so putting all that pressure on yourself to try and make it work has been tough. But now with the car working and feeling more comfortable, I'm actually looking forward to seeing how you get on it.
Looking forward to doing it. I can't think of a roundup now.
That's it.
Cup.